Hey YouTube, McLaren Lamb here. Long time no see. Coming at you today with a review of the Mossberg 930 Tactical 12 gauge shotgun. This thing is a semi-auto shotgun. It's tube fed, and it's a little bit different than what you're used to with the Benelli M4 or Benelli M2 or the Beretta 1301. So let's get into it. So starting off at the back, we've got a very generous butt pad here, very squishy, and then just a basic stock. I like this style because it allows me to do the quad load really easy, because when I do the quad load, I like to just pull it under my armpit like this. So I'm not one of those people who pulls it in like it's a violin. I prefer to do it under the armpit, and then my left hand does all the loading. If you have a pistol grip, you have to change your grip. You have to take your hand off in order to get it under your armpit, so you have to take your hand off anyways. Whereas with this, I can just pull it right under. So that's why I like this style of stock. And then the safety is really nice because it's pretty much ambidextrous. It's right here in the middle of the gun. So if I want to take it up, use my right hand, you can hear that. And then if I want to use it on my left hand, just use my thumb. So super simple. Trigger, standard shotgun trigger, nothing to talk about there really. Bolt release is great. It's a little bit bigger than what I see on the Benelli M2 and Benelli M4 and all those Turkish shotguns that I shoot. So when I rack it back, really easy to load a shell in, hit that bolt release, or go under, hit it. Super simple. The top rail, or the top of the receiver, is drilled and tapped to accept a Picatinny rail. Yeah, these screws here, they will come out when you're shooting them. So keep an eye on that when you're shooting the gun. Those screws will unscrew themselves. With the handguard, nothing too special right there. You know, it's got some checkering on it to give it a nice grip, so nothing really to complain about other than when I do my quad load, sometimes this upper lip here, right here, of the handguard kind of blocks it. That's only really relevant to you though if you're into that sort of thing, you're doing the quad load. Barrel, 18.6 inches or just over 18.5 inches for the Canadian legal limit. If you don't know, here in Canada, if your gun is center fire and semi-automatic, the barrel has to be a minimum of 18.5 inches. If not, if it's less than that, then it falls into the restricted category, which is a pain in the ass. So we won't get into that. The tube holds 7 2 3/4 inch shots, but then it holds 5 3/4 inch shots. So with the 2 3/4, which is probably what you're going to be shooting most often, depending on you, you'll be able to fit 7 in there in the tube, but the 7th one will just barely click in there. It just barely goes in. Sights. The sight is a very simple bead on the end of the gun. That's all you get for the sights. So if you attach the rail at the back of the receiver here, you can put an optic on it real simple. Definitely recommend running an optic on a shotgun. If you haven't tried it, try it. It's great. So for this shotgun, I put a simple flashlight mount here, Picatinny rail mount, and then put a nightstick flashlight on there. So suits all my LARPing needs. So if I want to blind myself in the mirror with my flashlight, I can do that. I got the pressure pad switch. So if I just want to touch it, turn my flashlight on like that. Or if I want to click it on, I can click it on as well. I like, with these tube-fed shotguns, it's really easy to mount a light to it. And then for your sling points, you got one sling point at the back and one sling point way up at the front. So you've got those tiny little pinholes there for the sling. With that, I find Might be a little limited as far as slings are concerned. Right now I just got a basic sling on it, so it's not one of those slings I can put around my neck and transition from rifle to pistol or anything like that. It's this is the kind of sling you use just to put over your shoulder like this if you want to walk around and just have the shotgun slung around your shoulder. As far as shooting the shotgun is concerned, it's a little different than the Beretta 1301 or the Benelli M4 or Benelli M2, a lot of those European shotguns. This is different because with those other shotguns I just mentioned, when you load the tube, right, and you go to rack the bolt, it won't load a round in from the tube. It's just not going to happen, right? And that's done on purpose. There'll be a release button right here that you can press to let the shell stop go, put a shell into the receiver, and then it'll load around from there. That manual of arms can kind of mess with people's heads at first. So the nice thing about the Mossberg 930 is it's a little different than that, because when I load a round, this is a fake round, just a dummy round, put it in the tube. If I cock it back with the charging handle, it will load a round into the tube, as you can see right there. Right? And then pop that sucker out. So a little bit more what you'll probably be used to for a manual arms, especially if you use semi-auto rifles a lot. With a semi-auto rifle, you're used to being able to just put a round in the magazine, and then if you rack the bolt, it'll load one into the chamber, and that's exactly the case with the Mossberg 930. The reason the European shotguns like that style of loading where you have to press the shell stop release is because with those style of shotguns, you can be firing, and then mid-magazine, you can eject the round that's in the chamber. Maybe you take a slug or something, or a beanbag round, or a dragon's breath, whatever you want, throw it in there, close the bolt, and you'll be good to go. Whereas with this, it'd be a little bit different than that. The butt pad is really generous, so not a lot of felt recoil there. Handles stuff well. Haven't had really any malfunctions with this shotgun. I think once or twice it had a failure to fully eject. All I had to do was just pull the bolt back and it was good to go. Haven't had any other issues than that. When I load it, it doesn't bite my thumb. Every time I go to load it, it's not biting the hell out of my thumb with that loading gate. Decide for yourself if this is something that you want. I mean, the Mossberg 930 will typically come in at around $800, whereas the Beretta 1301 you're looking at probably $1,800. Benelli M2 you're looking at about $2,000. Benelli M4 you're looking at hell $2,400 to $2,800. So not cheap. Now those shotguns are great. They're very reliable. They'll run just about everything. You can count on them. But I found it's the same with the Mossberg 930. Haven't had any issues with it at all. It's maybe not as flashy or as nice as those European shotguns, but man, it sure does get the job done. If you're like me and you just want to go out to Crownland and shoot a bunch of cans, then this is the shotgun for you. I'll give you a demonstration of that quad load. You take one of these shell caddies here, and you're going to need one of these for quad loading. This is a basic one because it just holds 4 rounds. Some of them you can get, it goes around your entire waist. Quick demo, let me get into a stance here so you can see. I got my stupid camera angle going. So again, fake shells. These are just dummy shells. Don't be practicing this stuff in your house with real shells. So on the last round, the shotgun will lock back like this. So after you've fired your last shot, one of my favorite things to do, if you take one of these side saddles here, you can grab out the top of it, pull a shell out, go over the top, press the button, it'll hit you in the finger. You just let it go forwards. And then after I've done that, I flip it into the armpit, just like I mentioned before. Grab my 4 shells, just like that. I'm going to get my thumb behind the shells that I'm loading in. I'm going to push them into the tube. There's 2. There's 4. And I got 1 in the chamber, so I've loaded 5 shots right there. Let's see if my gorilla motor skills will allow me to do that a little faster for you. So from here, fired my last shot, come over the top, load it in, flip it over, load my 2 shots here, whoops, and then there. So even though I messed that up, I managed to load 5 shots right there. Now, these shell caddies are pretty good. I found that they're not too bad as far as reliability is concerned. Got 4 loaded up. You can adjust it to the length of shells that you're using. You snap it onto your belt. So it's pretty good. Let me do some hula hoop type movements here, jumping up and down. Give it a few smacks. They actually hang onto shells pretty good. So I do recommend one of these. Sometimes if you swipe your hand on it the wrong way, it might knock off a couple of shells like that. If you want to be like a tactical kangaroo of death, you can get yourself a fanny pack, or you can get yourself a crap load of those shell caddies. You can put them in your mag pouches, and not shell caddies, I mean these things, these side saddles here, these Velcro ones. You got the tear off ones. Stick that in your mag pouches. You can take one out, stick it on your shotgun like this. Boop. You got another 5 rounds loaded up on the side of your shotgun. You can put another one here. I think the Mossberg 930 is a good shotgun, and Mossberg, you know, they make good shotguns. They made the 940 JM Pro, the 940 Tactical, the Maverick 88, the 590, the 500 series. All those are great shotguns, and the Mossberg 930 Tactical here is no different. Great shotgun. Fired hundreds of rounds through this thing so far. Barely ever need to clean it. I do recommend cleaning the gas system of this shotgun, but it's great. If you decide to go down the route of having like Turkish shotguns, you can do that. I've owned a few Turkish shotguns in my life, and I've never really had any issues with them, but some people do. So there's a good chance you might get a lemon with one of those things and just have a bad shotgun that doesn't work for you, or it breaks early on, right? You watch James Reeves, right? He does those shotgun burn downs with 500 rounds, and I think a Turkish shotgun has yet to make it through one of those. So you might be wasting your money, you might not. It depends what you want your shotgun for. If you just want to randomly go out and shoot some cans out on the dirt or whatever, then sure, Turkish shotgun's fine. Like, it's probably, you know. But if you're into like competition shooting, then I would not recommend cheaping out. So that's about all the information I have on this shotgun, on the Mossberg 930. If you have any more questions about it, ask me in the comments. Let me know what you want me to review next. I got a couple other things I could review, a couple more videos I could make. Anyways, that's been my review on the shotgun, on the Mossberg 930.
Take tonic water! That's what you get.